record, 3 shutouts, 208 goals against, and a 929 save percentage. Best for second in the league, right behind Owen Savory. Facing against him is the most used goaltender in the league, Zach Moore. He's got 24 wins, 15 losses in 39 games. This is going to be his 40th start of the season. His peripherals might not be great, but his team is also good. I'm Eric Holland, and joining me is Hayden Alex. As play starts, the Avalanche win the faceoff with Derek Raposo passing it off to Hadanaka. Static fumbles it in his feet, tries to get to Van Loon, but it's chipped away by the stick of Justin Schneider. Raposo passes it off, a short pass. Static throws it down, and it goes right behind the net of Zach Moore, who plays it. He rims it along the glass, and it bounces all the way down. No icing call by the referees. Hadanaka reverses. Raposo turns the puck over, and Frank Pucci, the best goal scorer in the league right now, turns it over after he intercepted the initial pass. Van Loon dumps the puck down, and Woodhouse, the man who's now the leading goal scorer with 26 goals on the team, goes out on the forecheck. Busting up, trying to get around some players as Owen Green gets to the wall of the defense of the Ancaster D, and it's thrown on net on Moore, his first save of the night, and it's back to the blue line. Thrown on foot, just missing the tip. Along the boards, Jacob Stos gets bodied off, pressured, and throws the puck to the corner.
It's been a pretty good start to the game for the Avalanche. They're getting on the forecheck pretty physically and pretty early in this game. And as you mentioned, Frank Pucci in this game, he is a force to be reckoned with. He's got 40 goals and 43 assists. He is pacing all GOJHL players right now with the 83 points like you mentioned earlier. And the Avalanche don't have quite as much firepower on their team, but they do have 2 20-plus goal scorers on their team. 3 actually at this point, with that being Bridgewater, Woodhouse, and as well with, of course, the dynamic rookie in Liam Van Loon. And for the Avalanche, those are the 2 guys you really want to get on their horses early. You want Woodhouse and Van Loon to be your 2 guys leading the offense. And well, maybe one problem with the Niagara Falls Canucks, they rely so heavily on Zach Moore. Like you said, he's played 40 games in what is a total of 50 games in the entire season. So he might be a little tired throughout this season and maybe come playoff time. So get on him early and get on him hard.
Canucks had it down low behind the net, circling out in front, pass it across, great stick play from Jordan Simpson after a centering pass from Downey. Penalty coming up to Canucks. Owen Green got his stick in the hands of Luke Croucher, and he's going to get a penalty call. It's a hooking against the Canucks.
Yeah, a hooking call coming from Owen Green. He was chasing Croucher. As we know, he's got amazing speed. To be honest, it looked a little weak, but he did get him in the hands, so it was a correct call to make. Not one that I personally agree with, but the Avalanche are going to get their first power play of the night, and it's a pretty early one. We haven't even played 3 minutes in this period yet, and the Avalanche have the 10th best power play currently in the league.
Kyle Kennery passed it down to Static, who seems to just keep it onside. The coach, Frank Pietrangelo, doesn't seem to think that.
Yeah, I probably have to agree with Pietrangelo there. That was really close.
Adam Moore out in front, goals! What a pass from Adam Moore!
And some great puck movement, and this is going to make Frank Pietrangelo pull his hair on the bench. That was inches from being offside. Great play by Static, but as he's had such a great season, Dirk Static, that is now 14 points in 11 games. His past 11 games, that is. And another power play point as he leads the team in power play points already. Dirk Static is able to just keep it in. He puts it down to the corner, and Adam Mayer makes a great backhand pass, and the Avalanche score early on the power play to give them a 1-0 lead.
And just before that, the Canucks were actually tied for the least amount of penalties taken in the Golden Horseshoe, 740 as opposed to the 968 that the Avs have taken. So they're a pretty disciplined team, and it's surprising they took one so early.
Yeah, and those kind of numbers, you don't really take into account what that actually means. You just hear, oh, this team's taken this amount of penalties, but that's a pretty significant difference in power play and penalty minutes they've taken, and that usually shows they're a lot more level-headed. But tonight they get away. They can't get away with what was a hooking call, and they already are down because of it.
And it's an interesting one too, considering Caledonia has 1,300 penalty minutes. So, and that's a save from Zach Moore. And it's always hard to play when you're on the penalty kill, but this team's almost never on the penalty kill.
Yeah, and as we see a lot in the GOJHL, especially when we watch these Avalanche games at home, these young guys are really feisty. They don't want to give up any territory. They don't really put up with too much, so they like to fight back. But I mean, clearly you have the Niagara Canucks. They've been coached very well to show you don't want to be giving up a lot of power play opportunities in a league that already scores a lot of goals.
Avalanche are scoring at a 4 goals even pace per game, so let's see if they can possibly continue with that threat as they're trying to get some offensive pressure. Turnover, Kyle Kerry reaching, just miss it on a nice stick play from Dylan Hill, and it's Frank Pucci who gets the butt end, or just the rear end of Tanner Bernecki, that is, as he tries to dance around him. He's a guy that you don't want to give any space whatsoever, and Bernecki did a good job of bodying him out.
And he did make a very good play. You have to close in on Frank Pucci because he's got such insane skills in tight, and he's a great passer, and he's a great goal scorer, so he's a triple threat no matter which way you look at it. And he's definitely a guy that you have to be on him at all times, and Tanner Bernecki played him beautifully. He lined him up, he able to knock him off the puck, and Dugas covers it up.
Speaking of triple threats, Pucci, 10 power play goals on the team, 5 shorthanded and 7 game-winning goals, so any situation, he's going to get you some results.
And he's just that much of a complete player when you have those kind of stats, and a lot of those stats are some of the league's best. You know that you have a very amazing player, and wherever he ends up in his hockey career later in life, a team will be very happy to have him.
Puck was played up by Bryce Robertson after some pressure from the Canucks, and the Avalanche are seeming to have some trouble getting out of their own end as the Canucks they came off an 8-1 loss to Caledonia, so obviously another whistle coming to Ryan Dugas, but obviously they want to show a better result than what they did last game.
Yeah, shellacking from the best team in the Golden Horseshoe and in the entire league, as Caledonia actually recently clinched the Golden Horseshoe division, so they already know they've got first, and they're looking to face Fort Erie at this point because Fort Erie's in dead last, other than Buffalo, that is, as the team that makes the playoffs. So they basically know their own fate, whereas the Canucks could face a different myriad of teams. They could face Thorwald or Pelham, and Thorwald actually playing tonight. Welland, that is actually playing tonight, and that's another team that's looking to see where they play.
Face-off won by the Avalanche. Robertson throws it down low. Back out front. Croucher tries to throw it out to Bro, but he wasn't in the right position to get a play, and it's danced around. What a play by Garrett Downey. Passes it across, and Owen Green couldn't get to the puck as it was just too far ahead on a sliding block coming from Simpson. All on the boards, Bro tries to grab it, one-hands it to himself. He's 1-on-4. He dumped it down low and chases after, gets there first, gets bodied off by Schneider. Owen Green tries to swipe at it, but coming in was Luke Croucher, who gets bodied off a nice big hit from Schneider. Barbeau pinning Croucher along the boards, pushing it up into the bench was Matt Bauman. Some good offensive zone time for the Avalanche, but nothing doing.
First period door prizes that we'd like you to collect. We have ticket number 489-8566 or
Face-off's going to come to the right of Zach Moore, as both goalies have not had. They've had a few shots, but most of them have been easy. I'll take these kind of saves.
Yeah, there'll be some easy saves in the game, and right now on the ice, there's number 19, one of the recent call-ups, Dawson McKinney, and he has been absolutely lighting up the AAA, as he was with the Burlington Junior Bulldogs, and he lit them up with 35 goals. The Burlington Eagles, the minor midget Eagles in AAA. He had 35 goals in 35 games. So you have, that's actually Ryan Mansfield. He's also on the ice too. Those two, Ryan Mansfield and Dawson McKinney, are two high prospects for the Avalanche, and those two guys are.
Speaking of McKinney, he just got a high stick.
That's one of his first shifts of the game. Not a great way to impress, but it was, my apologies, it was McKinney he actually has 25 points in 31 games with the Bulldogs, and then he's got 25 goals, he's got 11 goals and 25 points with the Bulldogs, so he's a guy to look after. But it's really Mansfield who's got the 35 goals in 35 games, as I was trying to allude to earlier. He's definitely the sniper, and he won't make it easy on Zach Moore tonight.
Puck turned over, and it's Andrew Barber, who throws one just wide as Tanner Ferreira plays it down low for Justin Kyle. He's got 40 assists on the year. Ends up back to the stick of Barber at the point. Gets around Hadnaka. Shot. Pucci took one off the pad of Dugas. McPhee bounces one off the boards. It's swatted out and just past the stick of Barber as Kennery goes to change. Ancaster has the 10th best power play. The 4th best penalty kill at 86.44%. So they've really risen in the defensive categories as it's turned over. Barbo plays it down to Ferreira to Hill. Pucci at the corner. It's Barbo. Pucci holds, fakes the shot, gives a pass on to Hill to Kyle, and Pucci fans one back down to Kyle. They can't seem to get a shot off. Great stick play. It's an interception from Mayer, who dumped it down.
And one thing you might think is they have some guy like Frank Pucci on the power play, he would just shoot the puck, but when you overthink, and when you have, sometimes having a lot of skill can be a bad thing, and you overthink your plays, and right now they're just making a lot of passes, but they're not gaining any way to the net.
Noah Bowman tries to dangle around Bridgewater. It's out the side of the net. What a great sliding block from Manecki, and Dugas covers up at the post as it looked like for a second Broomhead had an empty net to shoot at.
And you had the net was empty on the top side as Dugas had gone down, and all he had to do was chip it over, and he ended up doing a spinorama instead of taking the quick backhander, and that allowed Brunecki to go down and smother the puck in the crease so that Ryan Dugas' goaltender could do the rest of the work for him.
Woodhouse doing some great work at the offensive blue line to get the puck even further deep, and the Canucks have to start out with Hill making a great pass to Stose. Stose gets around McPhee. Gets bodied off afterwards by Raposo and stumped along the boards as it's pressured by the Avalanche. Turned over in the penalty, now over 12:22 in the first period. Gone as McPhee jumps out with Woodhouse. Woodhouse throws a curl drive back pass to Bridgewater, but it just misses his stick. Raposo throws it across the ice. Dirk Static to Raposo. Derek Raposo off the stick of Van Loon, who chips it down low and races in after it. Andrew Barbo getting hounded by the Avalanche forwards, and it's chipped down by Owen Green. Simpson reverses along the boards. Barbo manages to keep it in as Van Loon tried to get him to pressure. Owen Green getting pinged along the glass by Robertson. There's 4 players to the left of Dugas behind his net. Hadnaka is down low trying to get some defensive work done, and he ends up with the puck. Here he comes. He's got some speed, and he rushes around Garrett Downey. Getting whacked with his stick. Van Loon fires on a furling shot. What a play from Van Loon, and Downey looks like he's getting a penalty.
And it's going to be a tripping penalty going to Downey as he went for a hit, and it looked like Van Loon at the last second noticed it was happening, tried to move out of the way, and he ended up tripping him with his feet. And the Avalanche already 1-for-1 on the power play, and they're going to go right back as we haven't even gone 10 minutes into this first period. The Avalanche could take a 2-goal lead.
Face-off won by the Avalanche. Dirk Static, 3rd best defenseman in the league in points right now, as Croucher has the puck along the boards. Bridgewater tries to throw it in front, gets deflected by a stick. Static passes it across. Woodhouse holds, fakes, and he held on too long as Michael Arch throws it down to Ryan Dugas.
Yeah, that puck bounced on him in the last second. He was about to pull the trigger as he finally found some room, and as that puck bounced, he had to go back for it, and then Michael Arch was able to clear it the rest of the way down the ice.
Luke Croucher to Brunecki. He takes a shot. Oh, and it just missed wide after it deflected off of a player's stick. Bridgewater to Brunecki. Brunecki skates out in front, easily gloved away by Moore as that looked like it might have been going wide.
And you have 2 dangerous defensemen on the power play for the Avs. Dirk Static, like you said, the 3rd best point-scoring defenseman in the league. And then you have Tanner Brunecki, who doesn't score a lot, but he's a really good playmaker on the back end. So they can both move the puck around. But of course, the Avalanche are going to go, and Ken Pierre really loves this. They're going to have Dirk Static on the back end with Liam Van Loon. They really love putting him back there because he's got such a wicked shot.
Puck scrummed loose. Dirk Static has it. Van Loon loses it. Puck won by Matthew Riva, and it's chipped down. Dugas on his knees plays it over to Van Loon. Or that's Static. Static across the bend. Hadanaka who crosses the blue line. Hadanaka stops up at the top of the circle, finds Static. He's got Van Loon on the other side. Tries to find it in front. Shot saved by Moore, and a quick backhand from Adam Mayer.
And Adam Mayer found himself right in front of the net on a great little shot pass that was from Dirk Static, as he Adam Mayer set up the first goal from that exact spot. And that backhand was covered up nicely by Zach Moore, who was well on top of his crease.
Hadanaka was waiting for the faceoff draw, but it was blown dead by the linesman. Resetting the faceoff now. Hadanaka with another clean faceoff win. Static passes it down to him. Hadanaka at the top of the circle to the right, to the left of the goaltender. Static trying to get around the defense of Justin Kyle. Hadanaka down low. Mayer out in front, just missing was Kyle Kennery. What a great slot feed from Adam Mayer. Dirk Static has it again. 10 seconds left in the power play. Just over halfway through this first period. Puck loose in front of Moore. Turnover Van Loon. 5 seconds left. Shot. He's got Hill in front who's tying up Kyle Kennery, and the penalty now over to the Canucks. Adam Mayer shot off the shoulder of Moore, bouncing out front, just missing the swipe, but Stokes plays it down low as it's a change for the Avalanche. Tanner Bernecki gets on and puts it over past center again.
Some good net foot presence from the Avalanche. They weren't able to score, but they were able to get some shots that were through. Zach Moore able to getting a little bit of luck, but nice positional play by him to make sure he's stopping most of those pucks.
Nice play on the other side. Woodhouse has Bridgewater has him. He falls down, tries to slide it in. Woodhouse is a bit slow to get up. But what a great 2-on-1 chance for the Avalanche.
Hey, he looks a little sore after falling. That puck was in his feet. He tried to corral it, and he ends up sliding back for some of the boards.
Out in front, falls! Bridgewater finally finds Woodhouse with his 27th of the year.
And Ben Woodhouse, the unlikely leading goal scorer for the team. He's got 27 now, 2 over his teammate and line mate Liam Van Loon. As he fell on the boards, it almost didn't look like he'd be able to finish the shift. As he fell back first into the end boards, he was really slow to get up, but Matt Bridgewater was able to do a lot of battling down low. He then finds Bridgewater, who eluded all of his coverage in front, and he rips that one by Moore with absolutely no chance past his blocker.
And Andrew Barbo threw one off the glass that almost ended up hitting the coaching staff of the Canucks.
His subtle way of saying, I want more playing time.
That's certainly not a way to get that. Croucher gets a face-off win. Puck kicked back up. Great play from Bryce Robertson. Nick Bro loses the puck, and it's chipped up by the Canucks. Puck turnover, and it's offside as the Canucks didn't know for a minute there, and they had to touch up. Luke Croucher with some speed. It's a 3-on-2 for the Avalanche. Shot just missing as it took a tip. Bro tried to take a whack out in front, but Bro was there, couldn't get any passes to no one in particular, but Raposo grabs the loose puck.
Man, Luke Croucher has such amazing wheels when he's going. He's probably one of the fastest players I've seen on this in the GOJHL so far. When he's got that puck and he's got some free space, man, you got to be careful. He will burn you big time if you're a defenseman.
Nick Bro shot out in front, took a deflection off of Matthew Thorpe, and Frank Pucci breaks it out. Pucci tries to get a return pass, but it's deflected out by the Avalanche, and they're going to try and get back. But what defensive play from Noah Bowman? He came out of nowhere and started charging right back to play some defense. Puck kicked up by Frank Pucci. He gets a return pass and he crosses the blue line. Pucci crisscrosses with Kyle, who tries to get around Tanner Bernecki, but he chips it up. Kyle Kennery. Just offside was Liam Van Loon as he tried to keep his skates across just before the blue line.
Some tidbits, but we got a gear yet. Got a couple guys down there with some boxes and tidbits we want to give away. Center out. ice. It's level.
Frank Pucci hasn't been able to find a lot of free skating ice out there, as the Avalanche have done a very good job of cutting him off. Every time he tries to make a deke or tries to make a pass, there's an Avalanche right on him and they're able to cut it off. That's the right play to make, but you've got to make sure you stick to that plan, because a creative player with a lot of skill like Pucci, he'll find his way to get some ice, and you've got to make sure you're step with him all the way.
Face-off coming to the right of Zach Moore. Face-off won by Matthew Riva. Puck played back in as the Avalanche turn it over. Down low, Ryan Mansfield played it around, but no one was there to get it. Thrown along the boards by Frank Pucci. It's chipped down low. Dawson McKinney battling behind the net. He ends up with the puck at the circles, passes it down low to Mayer. Adam Mayer battling hard and throws down Matthew Riva. Canucks break out their 3-on-2, but coming back was Mansfield to try and play some defense. Busting up now, getting through a few players was McPhee. He dumped it. Oh! Ryan Stokes just lit up Kaylee McPhee with a beautiful shoulder check.
That was a classic shoulder check, clean, a little high, but he just absolutely demolished McPhee, who didn't have his head up.
What a beautiful hit from Stokes, and that's got to put some energy into the legs of the Canucks, who've looked a little flat-footed as of recently.
They have, and unfortunately, they just finished icing the puck. After a big play like that, you want to keep your feet moving. The more often your feet stop moving, the less likely momentum will carry on with you. So they have about 5.5 minutes in this first period left to try and get some sort of offense going.
Ben Woodhouse getting battled along by Barbeau, who chips it off the glass. Almost turned over, but Jacob Stokes ran and laid the big hit, gets hit into the referee by Derek Raposo, and Cabral has the puck just inside the blue line. Stokes tries to keep it in, he does, but only momentarily, as Eric Schneider tries to push it up, does. And these teams are starting to get a little chippy as Cabral tries to aerial to the center ice, and it's chipped out by the Canucks. Off the glass, off the boards, and Bridgewater drops it for Woodhouse. Woodhouse across the Stanek, who jumped up, and what a blocker save from Zach Moore. Behind the net is Cabral. He's got Raposo at the side, but he spins off a check, and Cabral gets it back again. Cabral reverses down low to Bridgewater, who gets Woodhouse. Oh, that's Croucher now, as Woodhouse went for a change. Puck chipped up. Stepping up was Raposo, and he's battling along the boards with two Canucks on him. Justin Schneider plays it across, and it's almost turned over. Schneider gets the puck back.
Man, the Canucks really dodged a bullet on that last shift.
On Green with a great push shot off the shoulder of Ryan Dugas after a bit of a lazy defensive play from the Avalanche.
As I was saying, the Avalanche almost scored on very bad defensive coverage in front, as somehow Dirk Stadig, a guy you don't want to be left alone in front of the net, was found alone right in the slot. A great pass from Cabral, who doesn't have a goal yet, but he's been trying his best to get on the board for the Avs. He makes a great pass, and the Avalanche have done a very, very good job at getting on their forecheck. Their cycle game has worked perfectly tonight, and look at the speedy Croucher now going out it as well.
Croucher's got Brogue driving the net. Croucher spins off a check, throws it along the boards, and it's Noah Bowman tries to reverse it, but turns it over instead. Rowe at the top of the line, shot just tipped wide. Homer plays it along. Croucher tries to throw it out in the front, can't hit anyone, and it's Nick Groh sends it along the boards, and Justin Homer.
Man, the Niagara Falls defense look completely out of sorts right now. They can't seem to get their defensive assignments right, as that's the second time in a row the puck's gone behind the net with absolutely no pressure from either one of the defensemen.
Kyle tries to chip it up. Bernecki gets in front of him, so he has to throw it down to Dugas. Van Loon has it, throws it to the center ice. No one was there. Andrew Barbell throws up to Justin Kyle. Kyle, nice move through his legs as Todorovic tried to go to the net. Just missing Todorovic with a pass. And he's behind the net now. Gets bodied off by Hadanaka. Hadanaka up to Kyle Kennery. Kennery across the ice. Kalen McPhee dumps it down low, and Zach Moore stops the puck. 2:30 left in the first period. 2-0 the score for the Avalanche. Hadanaka turns it over again, and the Avalanche are just all over the puck in the defensive zone for the Canucks. McPhee. Aerial passes, Michael Archer was on him. Kyle Kennery, a bit of a weak pass, but Hadanaka somehow gets it. Van Loon was onside as well. Hadanaka spins back, shot, easy save from Moore, but it still got through him and it went behind the net. Out in front, Van Loon can't tip it. He has it. Saves out in front, and Hadanaka scores! Another bad defensive play in the Avalanche. Just under 2 minutes of a 3-0 lead.
That may have been a bad couple of bounces, but you got to give huge credit to Liam Van Loon. That puck was thrown right in the middle, and he chips it away from the defenseman. It bounces. He tries to go for a wraparound, fakes it, throws it back in front, and Ben Hadanaka throws the backhand through a crowd, and it found its way past Moore, and it's suddenly a 3-0 score for the Avalanche.
And that entire time, the Canucks didn't know what they were doing. And that's what it looks like. At least they looked like they couldn't find anyone. Defensively, that puck just was bouncing over them, and they just were not able to get out of their own end.
And right now, what the Niagara Falls Canucks really need, they need to get out of this period as it is right now. Best hope for them is to get a goal in the last minute and 30 seconds, because right now they are all out of sorts. The Avalanche have come out on fire. As probably expected after their 8-1 loss to Caledonia, they're coming out really soft in this start. And the Avalanche, coming off of a win against Pelham, they are really throwing on the gas hard.
What a great interception from Matthew Thorpe, but McKinney has it, gives it to Mansfield. Mansfield out in front after a nice deflection tip to himself, but no Avalanche was there, and it's tipped down the ice by Matthew Thorpe. Bernecki. He's got Dawson McKinney on the other side. McKinney tries to find anyone, but instead is intercepted, and he tries to go for a hit, but just dodging it was Garrett Downey. Going along the boards. Bridgewater trying to pin his man. Instead, Garrett Downey has a nice move shot. Just missing the net was Owen Green. Trying to spark something as there's 34 seconds left in this period. The Avalanche are doing a good job of boxing out the forwards and not giving them front net presence. Shot off the post, trying to get a rebound, once again deflected. Shot deflected, this time it was blocked. Trying to get a breakaway pass, but just missing Bridgewater, and it's an icing call against the Ancaster Avalanche with 16 seconds left in this first period.
And finally, Niagara getting on the forecheck as they're finally starting to get on the Avalanche defense. But the defense for the Avalanche have done a very good job of boxing out, as you were mentioning. They aren't letting the Canucks get to the net. Now, one shot by Garrett Downey, he made a nice curl and drag, but he missed the net, and you can't do that when you're only 5 feet away from the net.
Turned over Woodhouse, that's 10 seconds, but he passes it up to Dawson McKinney, and it's an icing call, 6.8 seconds as Woodhouse tried to spring McKinney for a breakaway.
A smarter play for Woodhouse would have been to keep that puck and kill off the last 10 seconds of the period instead of throwing it down the ice. So hopefully it doesn't come back to burn them in the last couple seconds.
Frankucci trying to take the face off, but it's Woodhouse who wins it. 4 seconds left, and that'll do it for the period as it's thrown down. Matthew Thorpe hangs on as the buzzer goes. Canucks with a woeful first period. Let's see if the Avalanche can continue this into the second period as they lead 3-0 against the Niagara Falls Canucks. the second period here at the Morgan Firestone Arena. The Ancaster Avalanche host to the Niagara Falls Canucks. 3-0 to score after 20 minutes of play. I'm Eric Hallett. Joining me is my brother Hayden Hallett. What do you think the Canucks need to do to reverse the effects of that first period?
Well, a lot of the effects of that first period was caused mostly by poor defensive play. Multiple times the Avalanche were going behind the net uncontested. The puck was there by itself, and there was no defensive pressure at all. And the Avs have done a really good job on the forecheck and on the cycle play. So what they need to do is they need to get the puck in the hands of guys like Frank Pucci, who, as we said, leads the GOJHL in scoring and in points. So if they can get it onto his stick more often and get his creativity and skill to get the puck open into some open ice, as they currently have a power play, and it looks like it's a bench penalty because they don't have a number on the board.
Shot out in front. It's right in front of Ryan Dugas. Ben Hadnaka fires one into the feet of Dylan Hill. He passed over to Andrew Barbeau. Barbeau down low.
The first period. 2-minute bench minor.
And they're just announcing.
Yeah, that's figured. It's a bench minor. Maybe Ken lost his cool with someone, or maybe one of the players lost their cool with the referee. Although they don't have a player number on the board.
Michael Cabral being the one that's in the box currently.
Yeah. Although if it was Cabral's penalty, they would have had number 23 on the board. They just have double zero. So I imagine it may be something that Ken might have said to the officials in between as the players were leaving. Can't confirm any of it, but just speculation at this point.
Hayden Broomhead wins the faceoff, but the Avalanche are first to pick it up. Adam Mayer dumps it down low and chases after it. Zach Moore stops it. Just under a minute left in the penalty kill for the Avalanche as it's chipped up by the Canucks. Noah Bowman, a great hit check from Adam Mayer, stops him dead in his tracks, and it's dumped back down into the Canucks' end. James Guest throws it up, but it's missed by Thorpe. Broomhead chasing after the puck, but it's chipped around the boards by the Avalanche. Puck thrown down to James Guest. Guest straddles the line, passes it across to Thorpe. Thorpe out in front trying to chip it on a great cross-crease pass was Noah Bowman, but he just missed it. 15 seconds left in the power play for the Canucks. Broomhead chips it down low into the Avalanche end as the power play is almost over. Broomhead finds himself in the slot, just misses on a hard slapper, and that'll do it for the power play as Cabral's ready to come up, but the whistle goes right after the power play ends.
Not a particularly lethal power play. They didn't get very many shots. I mean, Hayden Broomhead is alone in the slot. He wires the one-timer, but big issue, he missed the net. And that's the biggest thing when you have Ryan Dugas in net. If you're going to miss the net, it's going to make his job even easier, as before the game, he was awarded the goalie of the month for January. So he's had a very good stretch of hockey recently, and he's one of the best goaltenders in the GOJHL right now. And if you're going to make his job easier on him, you're going to have a very tough night beating him.
Woodhouse gets up, passed across to Bridgewater, who's in the slot, but was poked at the beautifully by Green. Woodhouse shot save! What a stop from Moore!
Zach Moore gets across, but he gets a little lucky as that bomb is unleashed by Derek Raposo, and you see Woodhouse getting into it there. There's also some punches being thrown with Barbeau, and trying to see the number, it's Cabral. Cabral and Barbeau are throwing a couple jabs at each other. They'll probably go off. But the play by Derek Raposo, the bomb hits Zach Moore low, and it bounces right back out to Woodhouse. And the problem for Woodhouse is that he can't one-time it. If Woodhouse one-times the puck, it's a goal. Unfortunately, it bounces, and he has a little trouble corralling it for that extra half second. And because that half second, Zach Moore was able to get across and make a great save, as it would have been 4-0 early into the second period.
Cabral and Barber are going off for offsetting roughing minors after that little scrum behind the net. Still go with some 5-on-5 hockey as Adam Mayer loses the face-off draw, and it's thrown along the boards by Eric Becker. Dirk Stadig He's got Todorovic all over him. He tries to take a little bit of a shot at him, but he misses. Adamir, cross-crease pass over to Mansfield. Mansfield falls over as he tries to throw it out in front. McKinney gets it right back, gets bodied by Todorovic, and Todorovic gets held onto for a second there. No penalty call as Dawson McKinney had a free hand on Matthew Riva. They're ecstatic. Another red-hot Avalanche. He's currently got 13 points in his last 10 games. He's on offensive powers, usually on the back end for the Avalanche, and it's an offside call. Sorry, it's a puck out of play call. And this game seems to be getting ever a bit more physical.
And that's pretty much all the Niagara Falls Canucks can hope to do right now. The Avalanche have dominated them in every aspect offensively tonight so far, and defensively, so the only thing the Canucks can try and do is beat them up, is beat the Avalanche up right now, and they're not doing a particularly fantastic job of it, but at least they're trying to do something. And even then, the Avalanche have done a pretty good job of responding, but physical play means one thing, but the scoreboard is, at the end of the night, the most important aspect.
Leon Van Loon gets a bit of a high stick, but no call as he reverses on James Guest. Hatanaka battling with Thorpe. He falls down and Thorpe gets it up, but it's just missed by Justin Kyle. Puck thrown off of a Canuck skate, and it's Kyle Kennery. Kennery fans on a back pass to Hatanaka, who takes his number stick to the boards. Justin Kyle chips it around the defender, and it's a 3-on-1. Here comes a shot off the blocker up high as the best goal scorer in the league couldn't beat Ryan Dugas, and there's a penalty coming to the Ancaster Avalanche as we wait for the signal. A hooking call.
Looks like Kalen McPhee. No, not Kalen. Looks like Bernecki is going to be heading to the box. Tanner Bernecki taking a hook as he was trailing on the play. And another power play, the Niagara Falls Canucks have only had 2 tonight, and they didn't score their first one, so they're getting a chance here on the second.
Their power play is running at 19% on the year as that puck is chipped down. They had some pretty good offensive zone time in the last one. They just weren't able to get anything done offensively. Garrett Downey, cross-crease pass to Broomhead. Broomhead loses it. As the Avalanche try to clear, they end up doing it, and it's right back down to Zach Moore. Canucks pick it up with Dylan Hill breaking out of his own end. Matthew Thorpe dances around Simpson. Puck thrown out in front by Broomhead, and it's an easy save for Dugas. One thing they've had trouble doing is getting a man open and getting a clear shot at Dugas.
And when they have, they've either missed the net or they've shot it right at him, as that last shot was a great positional play as Dugas pushed over to his right and was able to get right out on Broomhead, who's had another great chance. He's probably been the best Canuck so far, at least with the most dangerous scoring chances.
Dylan Hill took one that was screened. That shot just hit it sounded like the paddle of Ryan Dugas, who for a second didn't even know it hit him. Dylan Hill passes it up, chipped up by Justin Kyle. It's thrown down. Great defensive play from Robertson. Zach Moore leaves it for Dylan Hill. He passes up to Pucci, who aerials across to Guest. Back to Pucci. Here comes on an inside shot. Nice play, Pucci. What a save from Dugas as he tries to cut across. And the Bear Hugs are going around the front of the net. But Pucci is a great offense, the best opportunity they've had on the power play, but Dugas came up big again.
And that's exactly what I said they needed to do. Give it to Frank Pucci, number 39 for the Canucks, as he takes it on the outside. And it's not a very dangerous play until he decides he's going to cut in front. And he can't quite beat the pad and the glove of Dugas, who gets himself low on the ice, and Pucci can't lift it. So it hits him in the pad, a little bit of a glove as well, and he's able to cover it up as a nice save by Dugas, who's really athletic in net, so he's not an easy goaltender to beat.
Avalanche have 30 seconds left in this penalty kill. as they face off to the left of Dugas. Broomhead tries to get the win, and it's a pickup from Garrett Downey. Downey at the circle, tries to throw it in front, but McPhee blocks it. Jacob Stos to Dylan Hill. 20 seconds left in the power play. Dylan Hill passes right back to Broomhead, who fakes a shot, ends up going down low. Shot tipped as Garrett Downey couldn't get it in front. Turnover by the Avalanche out in front, but just missing was Garrett Downey as the power play now over for the Canucks as McPhee goes solo attempt, missing a hit as Matthew Thorpe, and it's thrown out in front on a turnover by McPhee. Just missed Hadnaka, who wasn't paying attention. Dylan Hill chips it up, and it's a hand pass being called by the referee.
Ladies and gentlemen, our grassy pup shoot coming up to the second intermission.
And that power play, it has some decent chances on it, the best one going to Frank Pucci, but realistically that power play didn't accomplish too much, as the Avalanche did a pretty good job at limiting the quality of the shots, and even the amount of shots. There wasn't a great deal of shots taken by the Canucks. They really need to get just anything on net right now. More shots might be better than the quality of them at this point.
Puck reversed by Homer, and it's put up. Dirk Static, he decided to jump up as a defenseman, and he gets body off by Todorovic. Todorovic couldn't glove the pass down as it's an offside call, just tipping it for the Canucks. And the Canucks have a bit of a long way to go if they're going to come back in this game. Some of their best opportunities are coming from outside the perimeter, and that's a very hard way to score.
Yeah, it's a very low percentage chance if you're going from outside the perimeter. Hayden Broomhead's had two good chances. He had one in the middle of the slot, grade A chance, and he missed the net. And then he had another chance right in the left side circle on Dukas on that last power play, and he shot it right into his chest. They're very easy stops for Dukas to save, and very low quality chances.
Van Loon tried to chip a pass to himself, but he just mistimed it as Noah Bowman gets the puck turned over by Static, and here comes Van Loon the other way. On Dylan Hill, chips it to himself. What a smart play from Zach Moore to chip it away from the Avalanche's best player. Frank Pucci gets a pass to himself, but it's a great play from Raposo, who then takes a run from Frank Pucci. Stopping up was Justin Cow, finds Noah Bowman. Bowman to Pucci, but it's tipped. That looked like a bit of an awkward tip to himself. Dugas.
Little bit of anxious moment when the puck doesn't quite bounce the way you want it, but Dugas gets a handle on it. And you can tell Frank Pucci's a little bit frustrated with the way the game's gone so far. He's had little ice to deal with. The one time he did get a chance, it was a great save by Dugas. He was battling with Raposo there along the boards, throwing some hits, and he's just trying to grind his way into a goal at this point because the Avalanche are doing a fantastic job of keeping number 39 away from the front of the net.
Mansfield trying to pressure the offense, and it's a turnover the other way. Garrett Downey with a stretch pass. He gets the puck poked off him, and he's looking a little disappointed after he couldn't do much, but he turns the puck over. And then he trips up Nick Bro. There's a penalty coming up. A bad play from Downey after he himself got tripped up on a nice poke check.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think Downey's very happy with the call because earlier in the play there could have been a tripping call, although I think it was a good poke check from Kalen McPhee, who made a great little poke check. And then he comes around the boards, and then Luke Croucher tries to steal it back, and he gets his stick right to the feet of Croucher, who's always got those feet of his moving, and ended up tripping him down. So another power play for the Avalanche.
11:52 here in the second period. Avalanche are still leading 3-0 as they try to get the face-off win, but it's turned over. Dirk Static, he's got a man at the other side. Shot! Out in front of the side of the net! Ben Woodhouse had the empty net, but he fanned on it. Tanner Bernecki throws it down low. Up at the top of the slot. Woodhouse gives it over to Static, who gives it across to Bernecki. Tanner Bernecki pivots, gives it to Static. Shot! Tipped off the pad of Moore. He can't find it, and it's at the side of the goal.
Back falls penalty number 16. Down 2 minutes for
Renecki to Croucher, throws an easy one on goal, tries to get a rebound. Croucher again, and it's Woodhouse. A third time, he can't get the puck in. It's almost chipped out, but a great play by the stick of Tanner Renecki, and the offense is still buzzing. Woodhouse almost turns it over, but it's Static. A minute has gone by. A great play from the Avalanche as it's tipped out in front. Michael Arts gets to the puck, and he turns the puck over to Matthew Bridgewater. Avalanche are still going. Croucher to Bridgewater, the side of the goal. Both these units have to be tired right now.
It's been absolutely phenomenal pressure from the Avalanche right now as they've been shooting everything. It's a shooting gallery on Zach Moore. He's had a little bit of luck going his way. The defense have not been able to contain anything. And finally, after a minute and a half of pure pressure from the Avalanche, Zach Moore's able to cover up, and he even looks a little winded after that long siege from the Avs. What a great power play unit, and what a great minute and a half of pressure.
That line of Bridgewater and Woodhouse has been on fire. Those two have been finding each other this entire game, turning the puck over, and they showed you why they're one of the most go-to guys for Ken.
And of course, a big part of that was through their quarterback and defenseman in Dirk Static, who's still on the ice. He's been out there for almost a full 2 minutes at this point.
Hadnacker tried to keep the puck and couldn't get his feet flush against the board, so the puck goes all the way down to the Avalanche end. 10 seconds left in the power play. Hadnacker tries to reverse for Van Loon. He's almost intercepted and the power play's over. Corner on the boards by Justin Schneider, but Adam Mayer turns the puck over. Adam Mayer shot into the glove, easy save for Zach Moore, who had no one in front and just got his big glove out.
And the Avalanche may not have scored on that, but they definitely gained a whole lot more momentum than they already had. They've dominated offensively in this game, and that was them flexing their offensive muscles. And the Canucks could do nothing more than to sit back and hope that the Avalanche weren't able to score. They hit a couple of posts. They actually hit the net, I think, twice on that power play, as Dirk Static had made a couple of great plays. He's a great passing defenseman and a great rushing defenseman, and you saw a lot of that on that power play.
Coming on the other side, an easy save as Tanner Ferreira couldn't get an inside step, so he had to shoot low on Ryan Dugas, who covers up. Bit of a close call for the Avalanche after that puck bounced over the stick of the defender.
Right now, this is a spot the Canucks would like to start what they hope is a comeback. They really need some offensive pressure. They've had little to none in this entire game, even though they've had a couple of power plays already.
Michael Cabral can't get the puck in. It's turned over. Shot easy save. It might have been deflected wide by Ryan Dugas, and the Avalanche turned it over, but the Canucks couldn't keep it in. Schneider throws one in. Just missing it with the glove was Dugas as it went to the corner. Quick passes, almost turned over. Mansfield now has the puck across center ice. Mansfield throws one off the stick of Moore, who slides out to cover up the puck. We got a little bit more nastiness behind the net of Moore.
And that's Barbo going at it with Dawson McKinney. You had Ryan Mansfield, who made a great backhand pass to get the puck out of the zone. And he's a guy that you really want to pay attention to. He's a great goal scorer with a lethal release. And I'm sure that, as opposed to a guy like Liam Van Loon, they've also done their research on him. The Canucks really don't want to give any room to Ryan Mansfield. They haven't given it much room as it is so far. They've done a very good job of defending the young guy.
Bro passes it down to Robertson, who does an intentional shot wide. Avalanche have the puck. Homer turns the puck over, and Matt Bauman couldn't find the puck as it was to the left, as he was expecting it to his right, and it's an icing call against the Niagara Falls Canucks. Croucher having a little talk with Justin Homer and Bryce Robertson about a little set they're going to try in the offensive zone. He tries to win the faceoff, but it's lost, and the Canucks run a great play with his glove. Owen Green tops it down and ends up putting it further into the Avalanche end. icing call coming to the Avalanche. It's turned off as the referee thought that it was a clean play out. Glove done by Robertson, but it's Matt Bowman over the net as he just missed the head of Dugas on a pinch that turned wrong for Bryce Robertson.
Yeah, Bryce Robertson, he's back after his second injury of the year. It's his first game back with the Avalanche, and not a very smart play. He misses it with his hand, and he causes a turnover, and luckily the shot ends up high and wide.
Matthew Thorpe kicked out in front and digging loose at it with Garrett Downey, but Dugas once again covers up.
And Garrett Downey, we've heard his name a lot. He's been really good on the forecheck. Unfortunately, that's another shot with no rebound, and Dugas has swallowed everything. It's like a black hole right now. That glove and that chest protector are absolutely absorbing every single puck. Nothing is going for a rebound, and most shots are actually just flat out missing the net. Not a great recipe for the Canucks.
Face-off one in the defensive end by the Avalanche. Static turns over after he got hit. Puck thrown out, it's bouncing, and it's Woodhouse Hananaka who gets around a few players. Henry tips it up. Henry chases in after it. Gets there first, and Van Loon can't grab the puck. Raposo bounce it off the boards. Hananaka has a chance, just missed the blocker side of Zach Moore. Static tries to find Hananaka. Raposo lines up, took a bounce, and went wide of Zach Moore. Henry spins off the defender. Schneider's working over Van Loon. Cross-checks him into the boards. No penalty call. Schneider ends up getting up to Pucci. Pucci just misses Bowman, and Bowman's off to the races. He gets there first. What a great speedy play. Bouncing in off the feet of Dirk Static.
Great speed from Noah Bowman there, but doesn't really amount to much as he just throws it in front. It goes off a foot of Dirk Static, but he just chips it to the corner, and the play comes right back out again.
Todorovic throws it in the Avalanche end, but the Avalanche put it right back out into the Canucks end. Dylan Hill to Todorovic, quick one-up pass. Great hit along the boards by Static. He managed to hit Matthew Riva. Thrown across. Schneider takes one off the blocker of Dugas. Schneider keeps the puck in. Riva puts it even further down as Static puts it to Raposo. Raposo has it after it hit the back of the net. Turns it over to Schneider. Took a chip off of the stick of Ben Hananaka, and the Avalanche are looking sloppy in their own end.
Not a very good shift, but it's been few and far between of those kind of shifts for the Avs. Been a lot of the same for the Canucks, though. They've had a lot of sloppy plays on their own end, but the Canucks are finally looking to get on the forecheck, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're managing to get some time on attack, but their shot selection and their shot quality is very, very poor, and the Avalanche could have been called for too many men as Dirk Static had not quite reached the bench on the change as the play had started.
Here comes Cabral racing in on Moore. He clips Moore. No penalty call. Bridgewater tried to find Woodhouse, but it was too far out of his reach. Ferreira finds Stos. Ferreira behind the net. Ferreira back out to Matthew Thorpe. Shot just missing by Guest. Swiped away by Dugas. Cabral kicks it, but he ends up turning it over to Ferreira. Stos hit the side of the goal. Ferreira out in front, just missing Matthew Thorpe. And Zach Moore grabs the puck. Has Cabral on him, almost turned over. Matthew Thorpe. Just over 5 minutes in this second period as Thorpe backhands one into the Avalanche end. McKinney runs into Owen Green. Stopping up are the Avalanche, and McKinney gets out of his own end but gets hit by Downey. Thrown along by McPhee, and racing up, trying to find Mansfield, but just missing it. It's an icing call after Dawson McKinney got hit by Garrett Downey.
Just a reminder, folks, for the Grassy
Might have been the pressure, but it wasn't a very good pass as Dawson McKinney was a few feet in front of Ryan Mansfield. That would have been a great outreach pass.
He's a fast guy, but he's not that fast.
He's not, yeah. The puck always moves faster than the players do. And I think Zach Moore, after that That play where Cabral goes in on the forecheck. It's a little iffy, maybe a little controversial whether or not you think that would be a goaltender interference or any kind of thing. I think it was a borderline play because Zach Moore came way out of his crease to play the puck. To me, it didn't look like Cabral made enough of an effort to get out of the way, but the referee saw it differently, and they ended up not calling it. And I'm sure that will not appease the coach of the Canucks right now.
Coming in is Dawson McKinney, shoots it right into the crest of Moore. And some people on that play from Cabral might say, well, the goalie left his crease, so therefore it should be fair game.
Well, if we're going by NHL standards, still have no idea if it's a call. Absolutely no idea.
He could have been lightly tapped.
He probably could have Superman dove at Zach Moore, and we probably still would have no idea if it was a call, if we're going by NHL standards right now.
One of the reasons why this is not the NHL, and they, for the most part, know what to call. Schneider puts it up to Bowman. Bowman to Pucci. Pucci tries to get around Raposo, and it's Stokes-Static who makes the puck get loose, and Raposo throws it off the boards. Bowman and Hadnaka battling hard as Justin Kyle and Raposo along the boards. Puck is moving. Referees still see it moving in there, so they haven't blown the whistle yet. And it's finally poked loose. Schneider throws one easily off the blocker of Dugas. He keeps it up, puts it off, and coming the other way, just on side of the Avalanche, as Hadnaka has the puck. Hadnaka. Kyle Kennedy goes after the puck, but it goes to Zach Moore first, and he covers up. At this rate, the Canucks are going to get even more frustrated once the third period comes because they haven't had much luck.
No, Lady Luck has not gone their way. They only have 3 minutes and 15 seconds of the second period remaining before they'll go into the third period without a goal. They have to try to get something done quickly because at this point, momentum and just the play of the game has not gone their way.
Croucher at the blue line turns it over. Homer in front, tips off him. He passes it in front to no one in particular. Croucher once again at the blue line turns it over. He's hound dogging that puck, and Homer battles hard with Eric Schneider. Croucher has Schneider on him. He falls down, tries to poke at it, can't keep it in. Instead, it's one of the defense for the Avalanche, and the puck is finally put out by the Canucks. Coming up the other way is Nick Bro. He chips it down low. Guest hits him way after the fact. Bit of a late hit, but no call. Here he comes. Brugman, one-on-one. Great pass. Oh, and it's safe from Dugas. A beautiful spin around pass. And Dugas chips it out.
A great 2-on-1 play as Broomhead found himself right in front of the net, and he makes the pass, and Dugas cuts across with the blocker, and he's able to make the save and put it out of play. Horrible defensive mistake there, but the Avalanche get bailed out by their goaltender of the month for January.
Jacob Stos battling hard behind the net. James Guest puts it back to behind the net, but it's intercepted by Cabral, and Bridgewater has an outside step. Shot low, and it's stopped easily by Moore.
And Cabral getting into it again, this time with Stos. Cabral has been in everyone's face tonight. It's not the first time we've seen him in a pile.
Referee's telling him to go.
Looks like Cabral
is going to the...
No, Cabral's going back, and it looks like Stos is going to get the only penalty.
And Stos seems to be trying to challenge.
Stos is pointing. He's saying, "Hey, I want you next time I come out." And look, he's taunting him from the penalty box. But at this point, Cabral's done his job. He's agitated him enough to the point where Stos takes an extra roughing after the whistle call. And for the last minute and 52 seconds, the Avalanche will, at the very least, have a power play. I'm rather actually surprised that Cabral didn't get a call. He himself, I think he actually started that. I think it was Cabral who started throwing a couple jabs, and surprisingly enough, he doesn't get called.
That is what it seemed at first. Naka moves the face-up draw to Kyle.
Niagara calls penalty number 6.
In the corner, Van Loon has it at the point.
2 minutes for cross.
Static to Van Loon. Van Loon takes a shot and it's into the glove of the goaltender. Avalanche looking to increase their lead to 4 with 1:41 left in the second period. Eric Bodie scored a power play goal. Kyle Kennery, the beneficiary of a great behind-the-back pass from Adam Mayer. Adam Mayer and Kennery both out on the play right now, and it's chipped out by Andrew Barbeau. Face-off coming right back to the right of Moore. Hadnaka wins it cleanly to Van Loon. Static just onside. Another close call for the Avalanche. Static had it. What a shot! Just missed the net. Van Loon wired that shot. Van Loon with a hit check on Frank Pucci. He's playing the physical game right now, and
he's getting a penalty for it too. Oh, it looks like Frank Pucci is getting a slashing call.
Barbo had the puck in the...
That has got to infuriate the coach. Barbo's arguing, but a great hip check. Maybe you could argue it was a little late, but going back to that play at the blue line, I am almost certain I saw that puck come out of the line. Dirk Static again keeping it, according to the linesman, in. But from my angle, it looked like that came out. Obviously, there's no way to review that kind of thing. But this has got to be Frank Pietrangelo has got to be so he's definitely not going to love the officiating tonight, as it's not gone his way most of the game.
Van Loon shut off the stick. A low save from Moore, as there's a 5-on-3 right now for the Avalanche. Moore going out to play it, and he gets lucky. No Avalanche player was able to pick up the puck.
He's had a lot of adventures going outside of his crease tonight.
Van Loon shot into the glove, bounces back out. Van Loon falls down after he got hooked. No penalty coming. Bouncing out in front, Adamir digging it loose and keeping it in. Unable to keep it in was Tanner Brunecki.
117.
Brunecki got lots of space to work with. Van Loon has Kyle on him. Kennery misses the bad back pass from Van Loon, and Dugas has to stop the puck. Brunecki skating up with it. Nick Bro has Kyle hound-dogging him. Brunecki slap pass off the pads of Hill. Shot tipped up high by Bridgewater, might have gone to the goaltender. Taking the shot pass up to Van Loon off the block from Hill. The second straight block he's had in this penalty kill. 3 seconds left in the period. Scramble on the boards. And that'll do it for the second period. Same scenario, different period. Let's see what the Avs can drop on the 5-on-3 they'll have for 7 seconds in the third period. Welcome back to the Morgan Firestone Arena. I'm Eric Howlett, with me is Hayden Howlett. The Avalanche currently 3-0 after 2 periods, and they're going to start this period with a 7-second 5-on-3 power play. And this whole game has basically been the Avalanche doing what they want with their style of play.
Yeah, they like to utilize a lot of speed and skill. And you've seen that with plays from guys like Luke Croucher, who just has amazing foot speed, and he's been able to go around a lot of players. And Zach Moore's faced a lot of high-quality shots. He's had a little bit of luck as well, as some of the Avalanche have had grade A chances that have either hit the side of the net or had it blocked or go wide. So this score could easily be maybe doubled, if not for the fact that Lady Luck is being a little more kind to them in the second period, as the Avalanche did all their damage in the first period, even though the second period is statistically the best offensive period for the Avalanche.
5-on-3 is over, but they still have a 5-on-4 power play for 23 more seconds as Justin Kyle tries to go one-on-one short-handed, but Kyle turns it over. Croucher cross-crease pass to Ben Woodhouse. Woodhouse tries to drop a pass. Croucher can't get there first, and Kyle dumps it back down, effectively killing off the rest of the penalty. Woodhouse has it to Bridgewater. One last opportunity. Back pass to Croucher, and it's deflected by a Canuck player.
What a heads-up pass from Dugas. He's got some nice mitts there. He throws it from his own end and finds Bridgewater right at the Canucks blue line. Really heady play.
And we've seen Dugas snipe that puck top corner during the warm-up, so we know he can play the puck.
Yeah, he's a pretty good puck-playing goaltender. And Zach Moore at the other end, we've seen him go outside of the crease, but he's had, we'll just call them some wacky adventures every time he comes out. He's had a couple turnovers. He's been run at least once. And it's not been the greatest night puck handling for Moore, so he hasn't really shown much of a puck handling prowess. Not like Dugas just did there.
Kyle Kennery gets hooked down to the ice. The referees didn't see a penalty, and Jacob Stos rings it around the boards for Ferreira. He drops it to Green, and it's gloved down. Heads-up play from Dugas.
And a lot of the playoff pictures for the Golden Horseshoe and around the league have already been settled. The Western Conference, the only one that has a couple of spots still left, as the bottom three teams all tied with 27 points. In the Golden Horseshoe, if you're a Buffalo fan, it's some exciting news. They just won their second game of the year, 6-5 over Welland, who are 1 point behind Pelham. That's a big loss for Welland, as that will determine who they face in the first round. And right now, to look like they're facing St. Catharines, that's a big 2 points they could lose. And Pelham, right now, in the hands of the Ancaster Avalanche.
Canucks throw it to the center ice. Frank Pucci gets his stick on it. Justin Kyle passes it right back to him, but it's Bowman with his blazing speed. Pucci, what a shot off the side of the goal, back out in front, and Kyle missed the net. The best opportunity of the game, and Kyle misses it.
Might have been a better idea for Bowman there to go for the wraparound, as Dugas was well off of his right post, and it could have been an easy tap-in most likely for him.
Becker loses it, hitting Dawson McKinney, and Green chips it up, but it's played up, back up by McPhee, and he iced the puck.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have 3 prizes to give out. So if you're tickets in, take a look at them.
If you're on the bench, you're probably wondering how you didn't score in that last opportunity for the Canucks.
Well, they've been thinking, to be honest, they've probably been thinking that all game. No luck, but it's not just been about luck. It's not been a very creative attack. They've been trying to go in, and they also aren't taking very many good shots. They also aren't just taking many shots in general. If you don't shoot the puck, it's very difficult to score goals, and especially when those shots are really low percentage shots. You're not going to get much going, especially against a good defensive team and a really good goaltender like Ryan Dugas.
Matt Bauman. He finds Barber, who jumped up, but it's intercepted. Coming up the other way, it's Adam Mayer who dumped it down. Moore plays it across. Garrett Downey plays it up to Barbo, and just missing it was Owen Green. Simpson once again right back down to Moore. Almost 4 minutes have gone by in this third period as Owen Green gets it out of his own end, but once more the Avalanche turn it back over and dump it back down. And this is a strategy. It's almost a 50-50. You like seeing that they're dumping it back down, but also you like seeing offensive pressure.
The best way to play defense is to play offense. So you want to keep it in your end, but at this point, the Avs know they don't necessarily need another goal, although arguably the worst lead in hockey is the 3-goal lead. You don't want to see them sit back, but as long as they're not letting the Canucks big players handle the puck and they're not playing in their zone for the rest of the period, they should be in good graces.
Ryan Dugas makes a save on James Guest at the post. Covers up, and the faceoff will come to his left.
As we mentioned earlier, Buffalo won 6-5, but another future playoff matchup, which is the Caledonia Purveyors, who, like we said, clinched the conference They will face Fort Erie, as Fort Erie is too far behind of Pelham and Thorold to be able to move up. And Fort Erie taking a shellacking right now, as that score was 8-1 last we checked. So that might be what a lot of people think that first playoff series is going to look like.
Michael Cabral finds Woodhouse. Woodhouse gets pinned by Hill. He gets free though, and he keeps going. Woodhouse spins off a check. Schneider now going in, hooks down his man, and Woodhouse gets back to his knees, and the puck gets to Dylan Hill. Dylan Hill getting pressured by Cabral. He follows him by, and then it takes him a bit of a whack on his pads, and he finds a cross-crease pass to Broomhead. Broomhead just onside with Stoss, and he fires one right into Dugas. You can probably think that might have been a little bit offside, but as we saw with Dirk Staddy, he got two close calls that looked like they could have been offside, so they might have given him the benefit of it.
Yeah, but the more important picture there is that the Canucks were finally able to get some nice passing, as it starts with Dylan Hill in his own zone. He's able to find an outlet pass, and then the Canucks are finally able to go in, but a shot that once again Dugas does not leave a rebound for.
Justin Kyle has Robertson over him. Has to be a little careful with his stick as it got into his hands. Van Loon gets shoulder. What a hit from Barbo. But the Avalanche regain possession. Dumped down by McPhee. Van Loon gets there first. Tries to center in front. Almost put it off of his own player. It was Moores. He tried to stick it out. Noah Bowman throws it around the net. Getting there first is Justin Kyle, but the Avalanche break out first with Kyle Kennery. Dumps it down, and Van Loon behind the D throws it, and Matthew Thorpe intercepts. Thorpe takes Kennery hard against the glass. Downey can't dance around out of Mayer. Derek Raposo starts going the other way. It hits the stick of Downey. James Guest across to Thorpe, and it's a stretch pass to Downey. Between the two, he scores! What a stretch pass from Thorpe, and Downey finally breaks the shutout.
James Guest with a very nice pass, and Garrett Downey in stride takes it on the backhand. He splits the defenseman, as Dirk Stadix played a really good game. Unfortunately, split right through him, goes on the backhand, and he's able to put the puck right past Ryan Dugas. It's been the only way they've been able to beat him tonight, and it's been a wonderful play as the Canucks are starting to pick up a little bit more of the offense so far.
As the mantra always goes, one goal can lead to multiples, so if you're the Avalanche, you're hoping that was just one fold and the rest of the night will be as it's been for most of the game. But they turn it over at their own blue line, trying to grab the puck. Michael Arts does, and it's apparently coming up to the Avalanche. It looks like it might be it's a tripping call going to Hadanaka, or Crusher that is.
And Michael Arch was along the boards, and he's a little sore going to the bench. Croucher definitely reached in, and this could be a turning point here. If Canucks could convert on this power play, they have, assuming they don't take the full 2 minutes, they'll have about 13 minutes to be able to come back and score one more goal to at least tie the game.
Hill throws it down low. Ferreira to Pucci. Hadanaka smartly plays the backhand right down into the Canucks end. 13:15 left in this third period. Still 3-1 the score. Kyle with a stretch pass. Pucci at the other end just missed it. Pucci from behind the goal gets stick lifted, but still has the puck. Pass it off. Barbo gets blocked by Kennery. Barbo back to Pucci. Down there is Kyle. Justin Kyle finds Barbo up top. Tries to deke, and Kennery with a great active stick gets in his way. Blocker save from Ryan Dugas. Avalanche smartly pins it against the glass to waste some more time. A minute gone in this power play. Still along the boards, and the Avalanche have killed off roughly 20 seconds on this power play just from sitting it against the boards.
And finally blown down. You can hear a lot of banging from the bench, and that's from the Avs bench. They're really proud of their penalty kill boys. That would look like Derek Raposo. He's a big body, and you can see Kyle Kennery. He's also a pretty big guy. He got in there, and they were doing a good job of keeping that puck along the boards. And considering how good Frank Pucci is, he's kind of been a non-factor this game so far. His name hasn't been said too much, but even when it has, his chances haven't been the most dangerous. He had a pretty dangerous chance in the second period, but other than that, he really hasn't created as much offense, and he's the guy they really need to do something if the Canucks want to even have a chance of winning this game.
Busting up the other side, Matthew Phillips has it. Thorpe tries to find someone, took a bounce off of McPhee's skate, but it went wide. Justin Homer with a beautiful block, and he chases after it as it's 20 seconds left on the penalty kill. Guest throws it off of a player in front, and Broomhead grabs the puck with his feet. McPhee forces him to bat it out, and it's Thorpe who has possession. Bowman to Thorpe. 1 second left. Guest blocks one, blocked by Mayer, and the penalty's over for the Avalanche. Back to 5-on-5 with 11.5 to go.
The Avalanche have done a fantastic job of blocking shots. That was about 4 blocked shots on that one power play for the Canucks. It's absolutely beautiful lane blocking.
Turnover from Guest as he tried to find his defensive partner, Thorpe. Homer. Backhands in front, shoot just wide by Cabral. He was steaming in and he couldn't find the back of the net. Homer leaves it for Cabral. He's had some penalty troubles tonight, and he gets whacked by Stos. Raposo heads up past to Cabral, deflects it into Barbeau, who battles on the boards. Falling down was Downey, but he manages to chip it further in. Woodhouse, tipped by the stick of Downey on a great play defensively. Stone lurches on Downey, gets around a few players. Intercepted by Woodhouse. Justin Schneider can't keep it in. His Owen Green reverses to Barbeau. Puck into the Avalanche end. Turnover by Downey. Owen Green has the puck with Raposo pinning him to the glass. There's 3 Avalanche around Owen Green. Whistle finally blows. It's the second time the Avalanche have killed off precious time just by pinning someone to the boards.
They've done a pretty good job of physically keeping the puck in one spot. And if you're the Canucks, you don't seem very hungry. The puck's in there. You only have 2 players. You have 3 out up high. You could easily bring 1 more down to help the play out, especially because you're the one that's down in the game and you really desperately need a couple of goals.
Hadnaka speeds it around Hill. Justin Kyle puts it up, and it's Pucci. Almost gets it poked off his stick, and he does. Dirk Static has it, throws it off the boards. Hadnaka gets bumped up, turns it over to Kyle, who then turns it over himself to Static. Dirk Static has Pucci. Throws it off the stick of Moore, who reverses it. Eric Becker, long pass to Kyle, deflects it into the Avalanche zone. McPhee pushes it up, and Kyle Kennery has Kyle with him, ties his stick up so his defenseman can grab the puck. Becker, pass through the middle of Todorovic. Todorovic has it off his skate, bounces out in front, a quick shot that might have taken a piece of the stick of Mansfield. Dawson McKinney to Mansfield, and it's dumped right back in by Matthew Riva. McPhee bodies off a play so Simpson can grab the puck. Pump and a stick explosion from Guest as he tried to hit it back in, and it's an offside call from the linesman.
James Guest tries to keep the puck in, and the the blade of his stick just explodes and then ends up in an offside right after that. As the Canucks really, really badly need to get some offensive pressure. They've been forcing the play a little bit more, but they haven't had quality chances in this third period other than that one goal from Downey. In other words, it's been a lot of back and forth play. I mean, the Avalanche haven't been as offensively prevalent in this third period as they had in the other two, but they've done a very good job of limiting the chances for the Canucks so far in the third period.
Croucher backhands the puck out. James Guess with a new stick puts it right in on the goaltender, and the Avalanche circle from behind the net. Start a breakout. Almost turned out with the line, but it's put out by Homer, and it's Nick Bro. Raposo going to the net, and he was a step late as Bro tried to find him. Turnover is Justin Homer. Tries to make it deep, does. Gets hands in his face, and it's turnover. Held on to by Ryan Dugas on the dump in. 7:48 left in this third period.
And I think that's you gotta make some noise. Make some noise and get some good bits.
The Avalanche are definitely liking the not so many goal scoring chances they're giving up for the Canucks to take. They've been boxing them out and blocking shots left and right. Canucks have not had much to do right now. And it's a giveaway. It's glove save from
You might have
Ryan
jinxed
Dugas.
it. I think you jinxed it right there. Right as you're saying that, a big turnover, but doesn't lead to much as Cabral lost his stick there. It looked like he went in and clipped the head of Barbeau. But no call. As Cabral is in there, he still doesn't have a stick.
Justin Schneider with his free hand is holding on to Cabral, and he's trying to work him over a bit. Turnover, and it's Downey again. Downey's got a goal tonight, the only one for the Canucks. He tries to go in, but it's Woodhouse who chips it along, and Dylan Hill throws it along for Bauman. Matt Bauman to Downey, off the blocker up high from Dugas, who scrambles back into his net, gets right in front to Rob Dylan Hill. But the Avalanche, they got lucky as Matt Bauman took a high stick from Cabral, and there was no call.
He might have been able to get away with it, mostly due to the fact that his stick came flying out of his hands. That's just my guess. But Ryan Dugas, he's done a very good job of positionally. Even then, when he's out of position, he's a very solid goaltender at pushing from left to right. And from that play, he goes from his right, goes over to his left after sprawling, and he's in perfect position to stop the puck. So he's had a very good night at keeping himself square to the shot, and that's a big reason why if the goalie's square to the shot, it's hard to find space, and the Canucks have definitely had a hard time finding space.
That cheer coming from the Avalanche bench after Van Loon took a big run at Dylan Hill and knocked him down. Working down low is Justin Kyle. Can't grab the puck. Dylan Hill takes another run from Van Loon. Van Loon keeps taking every chance he can to run into Dylan Hill. Thorpe, blocker save from Dugas. Bowman tries to find Pucci, but he stands on the pass. Dugas tries to cover. It's mayhem. There's a penalty coming. Not sure to who, and Dugas falls down in the crease to cover up the puck.
And the referee has a penalty. I'm not 100% sure it's going to. I think it's the Avalanche who are going to be taking this penalty. And I imagine it would come from that net mouth scrum. The Avalanche also getting a little lucky. That puck didn't square out to number 39, who was all alone in the slot. It could have very well have been a tap-in goal for him, but actually, Hill is the one going to the penalty box. I'm legitimately surprised that the Avalanche were not the ones called, but Dylan Hill, the defenseman, who went down into the front of the net, maybe got away with the cross-check, and that's why he's in the penalty box.
Avalanche are going on another power play. They've only scored once on the power play. That was back in the first period. All they need to now is just kill some valuable time in this third period. Brunecki to Croucher. Down low. Tries to find the pass, but Barbeau found the seam, got his stick in the lane, and backhands it down.
The Avalanche might want to change up their strategy. That's about the I think it was about their 4th power play they've had, and Bridgewater, every time he stands himself right beside the goaltender and he tries to pass it in front, it's a rather easy play to read. If you can make it, it's a very nice play, but they might want to change up where Bridgewater positions himself instead of trying the cross-crease pass every time.
It's been a bit of a sloppy power play, but one that doesn't necessarily need to strike right now, as we're trying to make sure those 2 minutes come off fully as they inch their way closer to the end of this game, with Van Loon busting in. He tried to find Mayer, but Mayer was too far behind and he gets bodied by Barbo. Mayer wrestles Barbo to the ice. He's on top of the puck. Kennery comes in to dig at it, and the puck is underneath him, so the referee decides to blow the whistle. It's so nice to see a player like Adam Mayer, who didn't start the season with the Avalanche, was mostly used as a fourth-line unit kind of guy, penalty killer, and now consistently gets offensive time along with Liam Van Loon and Dirk Static.
And you can see that throughout the lineup. Ken really does reward the players he finds play really well and adhere to what their position is. Guys like Kyle Kennery, who have been hot offensively, especially last month, and then Bridgewater, who started the year off as a scratch and is now a 21-goal scorer for the club.
Kyle Kennery passes it on to Static. He's got Hadnaka at the other side. He passes it up to him. Hadnaka elects to Static. Fakes the shot. Finally takes it, and for a second, Moore didn't know that shot was coming.
Yeah, Zach Moore didn't see that at all until it went right past him. If Dirk Static had got it on net, he may have been able to go straight in.
He looked a second off as he didn't seem to think that puck was coming to him. 4 seconds left in the power play. Last opportunity for a shot. Oh, and he airmails that. Might have taken a piece of the stick of Andrew Barbo.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
4:10 left in the third period.
Magic T-shirt toss.
And the Canucks kill off yet another Ancaster power play. Woodhouse facing off against Broomhead, wins it, just missing the net after a dump in from the Avalanche. Justin Schneider has it tip off his own player and out. Raposo to Static. Takes a piece of Stos, and it's Croucher along the circles. Goes through the center ice, and Justin Schneider spins off of Bridgewater. Puck took a piece of Woodhouse, who is Justin Schneider's stick in his body, and here comes Ferreira. Breakaway! Great stick play from Tanner Bernecki, getting in the way of Ferreira.
Tanner Bernecki, a great play as Ferreira had speed to the outside and it bounced past Bernecki. Dugas had to make a little bit of a save as it chipped up on him. But Bernecki was a good job of making sure he couldn't cut right in front of the net.
Robertson to McPhee. Back to Robertson. 3 minutes left in the third as the Avalanche put it into the Canucks end, but coming the other way is Matthew Thorpe. Thorpe airmails the backhand to the corner. Robertson to McPhee. McPhee off the glass with a high stick. Saw Ken call that from the bench, and the referees get the call.
Well, if Ken doesn't want to be a coach anymore, maybe he can be a referee for the league. Did a pretty good job of calling that. Although right in front of him, very hard to miss. So, a 2:47 left, and at this point we're gonna have to see when Zach Moore will come out of his net and when the Canucks will put an extra attacker on. My guess is probably around the 1:30 mark, even though they do need 2 goals.
Getting round Hill momentarily with Static. Van Loon takes a shot on Moore, and it's a save. Bad turnover right in front, and a great scoring opportunity just missed. Bowman. Far side shot. Kyle tries to get the rebound, but he gets his stick tied up. Great stick play from...
And a penalty coming up.
And behind the play, the referee saw a high stick.
And it looks like it's going to either Bowman or It's going to Pucci. That's his second penalty of the game. He's done more damage for his team than he has against the Avalanche right now. He's caused his team to be shorthanded twice now, and this might very well put the last nail in the coffin, as there's only 2 minutes and 19 seconds left, and if the Avalanche don't score and there's no shorthanded goal for the Canucks, the game is basically over at that point.
And if you're a stats guy, as I mentioned earlier, this is one of the least penalized teams in the league, and yet they've taken about 6 or 7 penalties. Very undisciplined play, which helps in the 3-1 lead for the Avalanche. Van Loon rips one just wide, unable to get a stick on it, and it's Justin Kyle who chips it down, not far enough as Dirk Static passes across to Van Loon, who then gives it across to Mayer. Adam Mayer down low to Hadanaka. Hadanaka off the stick of Moore. Kennedy was able to get there first, but Van Loon aerials one to Dirk Static. Static just missed the top corner. He almost picked that one perfectly. Dylan Hill. 1:30 left in the third period. Canucks are hoping for a miracle right now. They want to get within 2 points of the Avalanche in the Golden Horseshoe Division.
And this could be if they win this game, it'll be pretty much impossible for the Canucks to get past them. Actually, if they win this game, it will be impossible for the Canucks, who have played one more game than the Avalanche.
Garrett Downey chips over the blue line, and you can hear a little bit. Players giving him a little bit.
Yeah, they're giving him a little bit of. They're giving a little bit of extra on the side as Downey got tripped over by that infamous blue line.
And Downey goes in hard against Crouch, who takes him to the boards, and the Avalanche are just smartly playing around with the puck, not really giving it to the Canucks, and Croucher comes in hard, gets hit by Thorpe. Riva.
Oh, Thorpe's getting away with a lot there. That's 3 cross checks he's now given to Croucher, and he's finally getting a penalty. He also got him with a slash, a 2-hander right to the pants. And Thorpe very undisciplined. I understand he's upset, but there's really no point in taking shots like free shots like that, because the game's basically over. And it's not like Croucher's doing much. He tried to get around him. He made a nice play to push him off, but there's no need for the extra 3 cross checks and the extra 2-handed slash. So another 5-on-3. This one's going to be 13 seconds long.
32 seconds left in the game as Robertson gets to McPhee. Robertson, you don't see him on the power play very often, but here he is getting time, and he misses. Finds a man in front. Oh, what a save from there! On the goal line, then he gives a punch to, it looks like it was Mansfield, who was out in front, almost got his first as an Avalanche.
Yeah, and Zach Moore is obviously not happy with the way the game's going. He just threw another punch, I think, at Van Loon, or maybe that was Mansfield again. As it looked like Mansfield went to the net, and I don't think he was pushed. I think he just fell over. It might actually was Bro he threw another punch at. Moore's not very happy, but that's also undisciplined. You could easily get called for a roughing there too, as there was no intentional body checks thrown at the goaltender or anything like that. He just upset the guy, falls over him, I guess.
Croucher wins the faceoff, draws the 5-on-3, expires 5-on-4 now for what seems like will be the rest of the game. 14 seconds left. McPhee down below. Dawson McKinney gets bodied. 5 seconds left. Avalanche still playing with the Mansfield right into the chest. 0.3 seconds left in this game. This game is now almost officially over.
And they run off the last 3/10 of a second wisely. For a team that doesn't get penalized a lot today, they took their fair share of penalties, very undisciplined, and you can really attribute that to why they weren't able to get off to a good start and why the game really was never in their favor.
The Canucks now find themselves at an impossible 6 points to get in front of Ancaster, so they're now set in their position. They have now clinched 4th in the Golden Horseshoe Division. Avalanche win by a score of 3-1 on a first period showing. And the Avalanche will be playing their next game Monday, February 19th versus the next home game will be against